got an argument
It's
before you.
recorded.
I don't care what nobody say. Kurt Warner should not be in the Hall of Fame.
No way. I completely agree with it.
Should not be.
Well, hold on. Let me make it. Well, hold on now. He is a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, but
Man, I mean-
he's the greatest, probably one of the greatest stores in the
Joe
NFL.
Flacco was Super
Oh,
Bowl
we're
champion
recording?
too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
we're
tripping.
recording.
I'm bad.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Blerds.
I mean,
To my right here. Oh, I'm sorry. To my right here.
I am the villain, Jason.
I am the doctor, Brandon.
And I'm Will. And I'm the Kraken. And I'm your host with the Lost Blerds. Give it up for the Lost Blerds, everybody. We're episode
Thank
2,
you.
3,
Thank
or
you.
4.
Man, put those back.
We want to thank everybody for the likes and subscriptions so far. We appreciate you guys supporting us. Hey, and we gonna do what we do. We're gonna get down talking this pop culture, answer the hard questions, slap some asses, and kiss some babies.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get down to question number 1. Question number 1: which faction are you following, Professor X or Magneto? Which side are you gonna go on?
This was tough for me because I kind of agree with both sides.
Okay.
But where I made my choice is there is a line that I'm not willing to cross that Magneto is going to cross that I'm not gonna go for that. Then at what point do you become just like your oppressors and trying to get your freedom or whatever it is you're trying to do? So I'm gonna lean towards Professor X.
Okay.
Although I will admit sometimes violence is necessary.
Oh, yeah.
To get stuff done.
Oh, definitely.
Unfortunately, but
But it is.
it's reality.
It's true.
All right, Billy, what you got?
I named my son after this man. I'm going with Magneto, and let me tell you why. I completely agree with what you said. I completely agree. There is a line that he's willing to cross. The only reason not the only reason, but the main reason I'll pick Magneto is because
I mean, you are a villain.
I am the villain, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point. And it's because he understands there's a point. Well, he feels there's a point. He's been shown from his evidence. There's a point that the other people are just not willing to accept you. And for whatever reason that is, sometimes you have to prove that you are the better man. And sometimes that means displaying your power in sometimes a vulgar manner. So I understand Professor X. He's far more Martin, and Magneto is actually far more Malcolm. But I hate to say it, he's tried. We talk about a guy who's tried that, and he got put in concentration camps. His parents were taken away from him. Every time he's tried, to even be a good man, he tried to be a father and a husband. They came in his house, they killed him. He's tried everything he could, and there are people out there like that for whatever the reason, and he has to be the voice for the voiceless. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Like you said, Stan Lee, if most of you didn't know, that's what Stan Lee created, this kind of power struggle. He created Professor X from Martin Luther King, if you didn't know that, and Magneto from Malcolm X. Just like both of these gentlemen, it was kind of hard because, well, both of those gentlemen actually see what the other's about. If you see the story, because even Martin and Malcolm kind of agreed to a certain point, but they had different ways of getting their point across. But I'm gonna have to go who I think is a little bit more powerful. I'm kind of trying to be a good guy on the good side, but I'm going with Professor X. His ways sometimes might not be the best ways, but I'm going off leadership. I'm going off kind of powers because his telepathy and mind control. He's the more powerful mutant, as we could say. Look what reason Magneto wears the helmet, so he can't get in his brain. So I'm gonna have to go Professor X just because, that little bit of goodness. I would like to be a Professor X with a Magneto side just in case I needed to break it out.
That's why I said.
It's kind of hard, man. Yeah, you have to.
That I agree with. That I agree with. Here.
Yeah, you can be good all you want, but sometimes you have to show them, hey, let me take out this lightsaber and beat the hell out you.
But I think we will agree that while he's wearing the helmet, Magneto will destroy Professor X.
Yeah. He'd definitely take that wheelchair and crush it up real quick.
Like he make it like a gift wrap him with that wheelchair.
Ain't too many people who could actually mess with Magneto.
Like Luke Skywalker on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Just like
that was crazy.
Even in the MCU, honestly, Iron Man wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh, neither would everybody's favorite Wolverine.
He'd take Thor's hammer and I don't know, probably stretch it out and put it around his neck or something. Hey, Magneto is a powerful
adamantium out of Wolverine.
Yes, he can do that. Wolverine wouldn't stand a chance.
Yes.
So Magneto is very powerful, but he's like that Vader. He's evil, but he has that good side to him.
That's true.
Because even Vader thought he was doing the right thing.
That's true.
He thought he was doing the right thing at first.
He had saved Professor X on numerous occasions.
Oh yeah. How often do people who are viewed as bad think they're doing the right thing? No, it's a good point. It's a good point to make.
So that's it for the first question. All right. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're going to our first segment, which is pick one.
Box.
Yep. So on this first one, see, even Baby Grogu, he's like he can't deal with these pick ones we got today because they're gonna be kind of hard.
You realize something follows every episode.
Yeah.
It's the Force.
Hey, that's why I've been practicing, man. I've been studying the books and meditating.
You doing it.
Hey, I'm trying to get the Force. So the first one is gonna be Pearl Jam versus Nirvana. Going over to my right, who you got? Well, not who you got. Pick one of them. I'm sorry.
This was every show we happen to have one and like just completely tears me at the core. Pearl Jam is one of the most iconic rock bands in history. That goes without saying. Nirvana, the unfortunate thing is we weren't able to see what they could have evolved into. However, I think when I look at Lithium, Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, I gotta go with Nirvana. I like the y'all know I'm a guitar head, you know what I mean? So the guitar solos I think a little bit better. The music is a little more mellow. I connected with Nirvana and I was a little bit more hurt to see what they could have evolved into and we never got to see. That hurt me to say that out loud, to even pick one else, but I'm going with Nirvana. Totally.
I understand your argument. Actually, part of your argument is why I'm choosing Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
And it's just because of the body of work.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, not to get off subject, but whole with the hip hop with Biggie versus other rappers.
Yeah. True.
You just don't really know what could have been just because his career got cut short and his life got cut short, unfortunately. So kind of for that same reason, I believe if Nirvana had still been making music, I think that they probably would have been better.
Yeah.
But I'm just going off the work that exists.
Yes, that's how you got to go off of.
I gotta go.
That's how you got to go off of. That's true.
I gotta go with Pearl Jam.
Yeah, Pearl Jam. Hey, created Jeremy, Alive. They got a lot of great songs, but yeah, I gotta go with Nirvana. And here's the reason why.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
There was a time, if you don't remember, where there was no rock on TV.
That's
and
true.
When the grunge era came in, I could specifically remember the day I was watching MTV, and Carson Daly said, just like I was thinking, we finally got rock and roll back, because there was like straight pop for the longest time.
I remember that. Pop saturated the market. I remember that.
So Kurt Cobain, but I understand they broke up because after his death and everything. But without that happening, we probably wouldn't have the Foo Fighters.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I love the Foo Fighters.
Dave Grohl, What's the lead singer name?
Hmm?
Yeah, Dave Grohl. Probably wouldn't have left. Probably been, well, I can't never say that, but hey, Foo Fighters is one of the greatest bands out there too. So
There goes my hero.
it's gonna be Pearl Jam, like Teen Spirit is probably one of the greatest songs ever made. Hell, me and my brother and my son Adrian was trying to play it one day because hey, I'm trying to learn the bass. My brother, he's an excellent musician. He can play guitar, piano, but
Man, I can shred this on Guitar Hero.
yeah.
Now I got the riff in my head now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
The bass line and everything's gonna be in the head for the rest of the episode. Cause then when the drums come in, then you can see the cheerleaders in the
Oh, my
background with the
goodness.
pom poms.
even the
everybody
Nevermind
just
album was
doing
that was-
everything.
Yeah, I'm with
Both of them had great MTV unplugs. That was one of the best unplugs. Pearl Jam
Yes.
and Nirvana had absolutely great MTV unplugs. It was some of the greatest ever done. But with that pick one, we're gonna go
So the next one.
Pearl Jam. I mean, excuse me,
There you
Nirvana. Look like it's gonna be the winner for that one. All right, this one is a great one. What you going with, the Lightsaber from Star Wars or the Schwartz from Spaceballs? Which one you got, Doc?
I know what these two pearls are gonna pick. For me, I'm gonna go with the lightsaber. That's what I'm gonna go with. The classic lightsaber. That's what I'm going with. Alright, y'all go do what you gonna do.
I can't even say nothing else after that because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but
Yeah.
you gotta go with the Schwartz,
Yeah.
man.
I'm going with the Schwartz ring too.
Yeah.
You know why? This is how I look at it, okay? With my Schwartz ring, I can hold a lightsaber too. You know what I mean? I can hold like a pistol and the Schwartz ring. So like shooting this, I don't know, it's like a multi, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it frees up the hand.
No, man, I'm crying
That's
out
how-
there, man. Y'all have to forgive me.
So you choosing the Schwartz too?
Hey, man.
I already knew that's why I had to go
The
first.
Schwartz,
I knew
man.
y'all was gonna do
Hey,
that.
that's one of the greatest movie parodies of all time.
It is. It is.
It's-
One of the greatest movie franchises of all
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm talking Mel Brooks. He made a classic movie when he made that. But the thing about the Schwartz and when everybody activated down here in front of their manly parts, hey, that made it even funny.
Come on, man. It's the
He
Schwartz.
said, "Now see, your Schwartz is as big as mine." So, hey, we're going with the Schwartz with that one.
Oh,
But
my
this
goodness.
third one we're coming up with the pick ones, it was kind of hard for me, but I decided which one I was going with.
That's why you
Street.
going first.
Nah, I ain't got to go first. I'm gonna let one of y'all go first. Unless you want me to.
I
Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. And I'm telling you where I'm going with this. I'm going Street Fighter. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. Alright. I remember going to summer camp and we used to stop at this store before we going and went in there, it was the original Street Fighter. Most people didn't even know it was a Street Fighter before Street Fighter 2 that came on Super Nintendo. The original Street Fighter where you either had to pick Caine or you had to pick Ryu.
Yep.
Or then you had to go to either Japan or I think the other one was China.
Yeah.
That was the original Street Fighter, and M. Bison wasn't even on the game.
Mm-hmm.
He was Street Fighters 2 villain, but Sagat was the person that you fought.
Yep.
It had Dunn, it had a lot of people on there that they didn't bring out to like Street Fighter 3.
Actually, when we technical, M. Bison was on there. He was Balrog at the time.
Yeah.
They almost got sued because he was supposed to be Mike Bison. He looked just like Mike Tyson.
Yes, yeah. That's not, they call him Mike on the first one. It's just a black dude with a red shirt and show it. But Mortal Kombat, it was great. I love the Mortal Kombat games. First one, even the one I had on Super Nintendo. It's up here somewhere.
It
The
is.
cartridge might be right there.
It is. It's right there.
Hey, even though we had the fake death moves on Nintendo compared to the Genesis,
I remember that.
it was still a great game. But after Mortal Kombat 2, I kind of stopped playing Mortal Kombat and kind of kept up with the Street Fighters. You know, because Street Fighter started pairing with Marvel and everything, then did the whole Capcom thing. And Mortal Kombat kind of, I wasn't good with the sticks. Let me stop lying. Hey, I couldn't do the death moves, man. Street Fighter, I could do the fireball, the uppercut.
So real.
I could do the combo. But after Mortal Kombat 2, hell, I couldn't do all the death moves, man. It frustrated me. Because I asked Doc right here with the Mortal Kombat 11 that just came out. I'm like, man, how easy are the death moves? Because I might try to play it again because I think it's cool with Rambo and Spawn and all them. But I'm like, if I can't do the death moves, I don't want to play the game anymore. So, hey, I know how to play Street Fighter. Who wants to go next?
I think I'll take this one.
I know, he's
I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat. Let you know the doctor's going with Mortal Kombat, the more violent game. I remember as a child when that game dropped in the arcade. This is where I had to go to play. And of course Street Fighter was there as well, and Virtual Fighter, and I can't remember when Killer Instinct dropped. The original
Killer Instinct dropped.
What was that? Samurai Showdown. All arcade games. But Mortal Kombat just stood out. I mean, there was no other game like it. As far as the violence, the fatalities. I mean, the most iconic get over here from Scorpion. I mean, you know exactly who that is and what that's from. I mean,
can't wait for the movie in April.
Please. Oh my goodness!
As long as I hope they don't mess this up.
We have to do a review of it. We might do a review of it.
As long as it's not Annihilation bad. I mean,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that one. Sorry, later on in the show.
Whew. This is another. It's always like the hard one. Only because I could just tell the doctor looking at me because he know what I'm about to say. I'm gonna pick Street Fighter, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Shame.
For some reason, I think what happened was it was brutality versus how many times can I hit you. It was something about being able to hit a person 62 times in one move. That was just amazing. You know what I mean? I remember having Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. I remember having Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo. I remember going to the arcade. It was a line at both, so when it came to the home consoles, I had to have both. But actually, it's something that kind of the Kraken alluded to. I think when Street Fighter started going like Marvel, Capcom, the crossovers and stuff like that, like Mortal Kombat, after 3, it kind of like started doing weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like the Armageddon and the Scorpion. I mean, Sub-Zero had his own game.
Shaolin Monk.
Yeah, it's like what was this, Mortal Kombat Mythologies, Sub-Zero, whatever. So,
but the question is Street Fighter versus.
I guess I'm trying to include the entire body of work.
Not Capcom versus.
You absolutely correct.
Yeah.
If you gonna throw in Marvel vs. Capcom.
But when you think of Capcom, you really just think Street Fighter.
I mean, you're right.
You know, you pop in the game and the little thing, then the Capcom flashes. Hey, that's what I remember.
I still remember the Street Fighter thing, where they sitting there like when the video game before you put the quarter in, like 2 dudes sitting there and he punched the guy. I remember that. I remember like the blade kick guy with the Sonic. And besides, now don't get me wrong, I think Mortal Kombat is more iconic for some reason because it broke the barrier of what they were able to do. I remember when they tried to get that game banned. That's why Super Nintendo chose to use sweat instead of blood. But Sega, you put that blood code in, and all the death moves and cheat codes.
I had it on Sega.
Yeah, okay, that's had I had it on Sega, I'd probably pick Mortal Kombat. It sounds weird.
Who was your favorite Street Fighter character?
Mine? Go ahead. Well, if he's still thinking, it's gonna be Caine. It's gonna be Caine for me. Yeah. Caine the most aggressive. When I played with Caine. Shout out to my partner Dusty. He used to whoop my ass. We used to have some decent Street Fighter matches, but he used to just beat my ass with either Ryu and Akuma. I just hate that
Akuma.
shit.
That's who I like.
Yeah, you know what? Believe it or not, it's odd because my 2 favorite characters are Caine and Akuma. Caine was my favorite because I think he was faster. He could hit you more times. I knew Ryu was stronger. Caine was an asshole too. You know, he's flashy. He's a rich kid. I like Caine because he was more of a villainous good guy. You know what I mean? But when Akuma came out, the Raging Demon was it. I actually like Sega too. Sega was a huge Sega fan.
That's who you got, just Akuma?
I mean, that was Akuma. I mean, I played Caine too.
Mm-hmm. All right. But since you're saying that, what's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Well, see, it changes from game to game. Because of course with the original, because it was either Sub-Zero or Scorpion. I mean, yeah, I played Liu Kang a little bit, but it was mostly Sub-Zero or Scorpion. But I mean, right now I'm rolling with the Jax man, and actually play Shao Kahn. Those are my two mains right now.
I played this dude online. If you got a PlayStation or is that cross compatible?
Yeah, it's cross compatible.
If you online, if you're looking for a challenge on the MK, get a doctor. The doctor's in on that joint, for real. What about you? Favorite Mortal Kombat character?
It's gonna be Liu Kang.
Okay.
Starting with the first Mortal Kombat, he was the easiest to do the death moves and everything.
You all about the death moves?
Yeah, man, I'm all about
the death.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. It's all about the death moves in Mortal Kombat. So, another question, just to be the spur of the
Mine
moment.
is Scorpion.
Which one did I miss you?
Nah, I think so. I don't know. Scorpion, though. The Get Over Here is too iconic. I go with Scorpion.
I would say, yeah, Scorpion is great. Arcade
Ooh.
or console on either game. Would you rather stand up the old-fashioned way, like at Fun Fair in Southbrook Mall, standing in front of the arcade?
It actually varies.
I
If
gotta
I'm
go
playing,
with arcade because it's more hype, and then especially at that point, man, it was crowded in there. You got a whole audience behind you. Yeah, I gotta go with the arcade, but you would get embarrassed though.
Yeah, I used to get embarrassed all the time.
I'll say this right here. I'm gonna pick arcade because if I got embarrassed in arcade, the embarrassments online are far worse. Like at least at arcade, I could get a couple of shots. If I was getting smashed, I wasn't getting smashed in arcade like that. But if I was, it wasn't as brutal. Because some of these online matches, it's like you don't even get like one shot in. So I get brutalized on some online game. The doctor was in on me a couple times. That's why I don't play him in Mortal Kombat anymore.
Well, hey, I go at the house because I don't know why I couldn't do shit with an arcade
Joystick.
I'm
with it.
I couldn't even throw a fireball if I wanted to. I remember playing a dude. I wasted my quarter back in the day. I was a little kid, just wasting my quarter. So that's when I used to go play the Samurai Showdowns and the Ninja Turtles and the X-Mans. Because, like you said, the line to the Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat was so long that it was like, if you got up there finally, if you didn't know what you were doing,
better make it count.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm not getting up there. If I see the dude in front of me, it's like he just ran a rush shot through the first fight. I'm not wasting my quarter. Yeah, I just go play skee ball or something.
For me, I was young. I was a teenager. I was foolish. Wasted that precious quarter, but I ain't do it too many times. All right, we're gonna move on to our next segment. Oh, excuse me, our next question.
Oh yeah.
All right, our next question is gonna be top 3 time travel movies. Top 3.
Okay.
So, which was kind of hard. So, which one you guys want to go up? Give your top 3.
I'll take this one first. Coming in at number 3, it's kind of newer. It's I think one of the movies that that attempted to fix the X-Men universe. It's gonna be X-Men: Days of Future Past. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. I'll be honest with you.
We all got it as our number 3 then.
That's something. That's something. I think it fixed their universe.
It's the only movie that, well, I ain't said the only because First Class was decent, but it's one of the only movies that Fox did right as far as X-Men is concerned.
Oh, yeah, it's probably the best.
Quicksilver scene.
Yeah, oh my goodness,
come on,
ridiculous.
It's one of the best. It's probably the best Fox X-Men movie to me. But
yeah, I would agree.
What's your number 2?
Number 2, I'm gonna go with the original Terminator. Terminator 1. Iconic movie. I think it's young Arnold's best work to me. He wasn't the best line actor, so he didn't have a ton of lines in there. He kind of speech robotic back then anyway, so it was great. He had the great build. The storyline was awesome. The first time I actually saw the T-100 with the straight exoskeleton, that thing was crazy. I think Terminator 1 is probably the best one next to Terminator 2 with liquid metal. T2 was really good, but Terminator 1. And my number 1, it takes me back to a time I'm going Back to the Future 2. The Almanac. That was one with the hoverboards. It was a lot of cool technology that at that time when I watched it as a kid, that was the kind of shit I looked forward to. Like, that's what I thought 2020, 2021 was going to be about. Flying cars, You know, the hoverboards and the bed and I guess they do have the shoes that kind of self-tie up.
Oh, yeah.
Jacket that self-dries and self-tighten and all that stuff. I think Back to the Future 2 is probably still my favorite time travel movie.
More than the first one.
Huh?
More than the first one.
The first one was great. I think the reason I'm really choosing the second one is because of the technology it showed. It showed like the future, you know what I mean? And like that was probably my favorite part. Was showing that cool technology. You know,
Yes,
so.
I guess.
All right, Doc, what you got?
My top 3 is oddly similar to the villains. My number 3 is as we already have, X-Men Days of Future Past. Like I said, it was one of the few X-Men movies that Fox did right. I mean, the movie was near flawless.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
really, I can't really think of too many
true.
flaws in that movie as a whole. So I'm going to number 2. I gotta go with Terminator 2. Judgment Day.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I actually prefer Terminator 2 over the first one. To me, that is my favorite out of the franchise. It's a real dope franchise. I like most of the Terminator movies.
Yeah.
I like where they were going with Salvation, and then it just fizzled out, and then they just went a whole other direction after that.
They had potential to actually be my favorite one.
Yeah.
They had potential to be my favorite one.
Now my number 1, Avengers Endgame. I had to say, I'm sorry. Just,
It is a time travel
as we
movie.
said in the first episode, greatest moment in cinematic movie history.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Avengers
No doubt.
Assemble. I mean, that's my list. That's
It's
my
just
number
it.
1.
It was just it.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
All right, so if you guys think, in case you didn't know, we give questions at the beginning of the week or whatever, go over. Nobody sees each other's answers or anything, but sometimes we come in here. That's why we have the show. We kind of think alike with the Lost Blerds. So, X-Men, I already said it. It's number 3. All right, number 2. I'm gonna throw everybody for a loop. It's gonna be Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray.
Oh yeah. Classic.
What you get up for, man? Come on now. How you gonna get up?
The doctor is not in.
Hold on, man. That's a time travel
Doctor
movie.
is not in.
All right, look, man. Bill Murray is a great actor. Look, the man went to Punxsutawney. If you hadn't seen the movie, he gets up every day, and every time he goes to sleep, he wakes up. It's still Groundhog's Day. So no matter what he does, he kills himself several times. He does everything until he just finally realizes to get his life right, be a better person. Then time moves forward. But until then, he wakes up every day in the same spot. So hey, it's a time travel movie.
It is indeed. You know
All right.
what it is.
Number 1 is gonna be the original Back to the Future. Hey, it was just great. Soundtrack, Huey Lewis in the news, Back in Time, all that kind of stuff. Hey, the whole concept of the movie, Doc, the DeLorean. Hey, Back to the Future 1 is probably number 1 in time travel movies.
I can do it.
So, hey, but Groundhog Day, I see the Doc back, but hey, that's a time travel movie. Hey, it's a time travel movie. It's just like people saying, down. All right, so we're going on to the next segment, our favorite segment. Who you got?
Yeah.
All right. So today's Who You Got. We got some tough ones. We're gonna put Dracula on the first one, from Dracula Untold versus Imhotep from The Mummy.
I'm gonna go with Dracula on this one. Similar ability between the two and vulnerability. They both had enhanced abilities, super strength to somewhat extent, regeneration as well. Of course, with the difference with Imhotep, he also could control the 10 plagues of Egypt, but to me, I don't think that would have an effect on Dracula. I mean, I don't think he's gonna be bothered by boils or whatever fraud. But he can do the thing with the sand and stuff too.
He
But,
confused well, man.
I mean, unless the sun was getting ready to come up, I'm gonna have to go with Dracula on this. And then too, the thing about Dracula, especially if you go by the Dracula in this origin story was that he was a trained warrior.
Yeah, he was.
Imhotep was like a priest or whatever.
That's true.
He really didn't have no hands. He just had those powers.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really if they really were to fight, I think that eventually Dracula will come out on top with his military background and that sort of thing.
I was thinking about this fight. Dracula has like the coolest powers. He's strong. He's fast. For some reason, I guess if I'm going with, as cool as he was, and I actually really like Luke Evans. I think he's an awesome actor. I gotta go with Imhotep. I think
The man was afraid of cats, bro.
that's only until he got his full power.
Yeah.
Now, unless Dracula can read from the book and can turn him mortal, like old girl did, I think what happens is maybe if Dracula's still vulnerable to the sun, I mean, they can't fight in the desert. That's an instant loss. You know what I mean? I think if he controls the skies, I think he'll be able to, like you said, distract them with the sand, maybe open up the skies, weaken them, going for the kill shot, stake to the heart, maybe. Sand stake to the heart? I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? Both movies are okay.
Okay.
As far as the characters, I'm gonna be a real blurred and said Dracula because Imhotep was black. In that movie, he was white. That's it. That's why. Imhotep was a black man.
Well, there you have it.
So I'm going with Dracula though. Dracula to me was the coolest character versus Imhotep.
Yeah. Then I will agree with that.
The story to me was a little bit better, but yeah.
Imhotep was a black man, yeah.
Right.
The high priest Imhotep was a brother.
Afterward, most of the people in Egypt that
You know what I mean? It's like y'all couldn't even.
Hey.
You sure cast the
Hey.
dudes with the boils and shit. They was dark
Now
skinned.
look, what was that remake with
Don't even talk about that. The gods of Egypt. Don't even talk about that.
That I wasn't even talking about that one. The other one with boy from Gladiator, Russell Crowe. He was
Moses.
Moses. Oh my
Then
goodness.
we ain't gonna get into the
Come
whole.
on.
Well, we will get into that one.
What was the other one they made? Noah. That's the one he was in too.
He was
No,
Christian Bale was in.
Then Christian Bale was Moses.
Okay.
And he was Noah.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another conversation
The
for
white
another
dude
day.
gonna be Moses. Okay.
You old Brenner?
But
Yeah. Okay.
we're gonna go to this one. Well, at least he got some color.
That's true.
He
I
does
get
have
it.
something.
Take a minute.
They could have used the Rock as an Imhotep. All right. So next, who you got? All right. It's gonna be a classic late 80s movie. It's a late 80s movie. It's not even mid 80s. All right. We got Michael Corbin from If Looks Could Kill versus Agent Cody Banks. Who's the better agent?
I'm gonna have to go with the guy with the better gadgets. So I'm gonna again, my two pervy friends over here, because we know Corbin, he got the ladies more than Cody did.
Yeah,
But I think Cody had better gadgets than.
Well, you gotta look.
He
Corbin had the
hoverboard,
shoes.
He had the shoes. He had the car or whatever. But also, Cody Banks had that too.
Yeah.
And he had the little hoverboard thing.
No.
I think about that. Should have put them on. 5 kids or something. What you thinking? Want me to go?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going, but I'm thinking. When you say gadgets, I know about Mike Corbin tennis shoes that can stick to walls. He can walk down walls.
But he had
and all
the
that.
X-ray vision
He
glasses
had
too.
the X-ray
Yeah,
vision
yeah,
glasses.
yeah.
Then he had the chewing gum. That was
Yeah.
That
we
was
sure did.
dynamite.
Yeah, dynamite chewing them. We sure did.
He had that. I know he had the car. It's gonna be Michael Corbin. It was a kill. Was a better move with.
It was a better move. That wasn't the question.
with the French teacher and everything. I know that's not the question, but as far as gadgets, I'm gonna say hand to hand. Cody Banks. I don't know. Cody Banks might get Michael Corbin that work hand to hand.
Cause he good.
Yeah.
He good.
Okay. Comparing gadgets, let's leave gadgets out of it. I'd say hand to hand. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with Cody Banks. Cody Banks probably get Michael Corbin that work.
You know
when it
what?
comes to hand, him being trained and everything. Because, yeah.
I'll give him that. I mean, we're talking like after they become spies, right? We're not talking about like the kids they were at first. After they become spies.
Yeah, I'm talking about after they guys become spies and all that.
Cody Banks was trained better. I think he had better gadgets. Let's not forget that Michael Corbin was strictly a fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was male, fresh class, and that's why he was even over there. He's a reluctant hero. He kind of stumbled into everything he did. He had no real tact.
Mistaken identity.
You know what I mean? So he is. I got to go with Agent Cody Banks. Like I said, cooler gadgets, cooler story, better training. Totally, I'm going with Agent Cody Banks on this one.
Yeah, I think.
Frankie Muniz.
Even though I would love to put Mike Corbin up there, but yeah, we came down to hands. It's all Cody Banks.
Speaking of hands, this next one is going to be fun.
So the next one, who you got? Maximus versus Spartacus. And I'm going to go first because these guys know how the little Greek, Roman, amphitheater fighting movies and stuff.
They call it swords and sandals or something.
Yeah, like Gladiator and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. So, but I did research. I've seen Gladiator, like I said. I did research on Spartacus.
Mm-hmm.
And Russell Crowe, or the Glad Maximus, probably get his ass whooped big time. Because when you Spartacus, and I think I seen the fight when he's fighting the guy, Theophilus.
Shadow of Death.
And when you stab somebody 30 times and all that, and he still gets up, I don't think Maximus will even have that much energy. I think he just let the man cut him in half and say, let me go with my wife and kids. Because it took damn near 2 people to beat him.
That's true. That's true.
So
with the undefeated Gaul trying to help out and everything.
So that's why I gotta go with Maximus on this.
what?
Because to me, this is to me, my opinion, which I have a right to. To me, Spartacus, he was lucky. He got lucky in his fight against Crixus. And he had, if it wasn't for Crixus, Theophilus was gonna chop him in half. Cause he the one, Crixus the one that slashed him. And then Spartacus came in and stole his glory. But I think if we honest and we really think about that, and then if you had to think about which, because I think the question was the Spartacus from season 1.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that Spartacus, I'm gonna go with Maximus. But if you think about the Spartacus towards the end, he was a better fighter than he was in the beginning. Maximus has much more experience. He was a general.
He was.
He wasn't some little peon on the side.
Now, and I may be completely incorrect about this. I gotta go back and rewatch Blood and Sand, the first season. I think he was a Thracian warrior too.
He was a Thracian warrior.
He's a Thracian warrior. I'll say this right here. This is a difficult one. You got the general, you know, the general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, gladiator who defied the empire, versus the one who brought the gladiator pit pretty much to his knees.
Yeah, I remember Joaquin Phoenix face. When he pulled his
Man,
helmet
this
off.
is difficult.
I almost peed on himself. Man, so skilled.
Because he had more one-on-one fights, I gotta go with Spartacus. And the reason I'm going with Spartacus is because usually Maximus' best battles, except for the Commodus battle, which I think Commodus wasn't really that good with the sword, and Maximus was weakened. Besides the one where he took on like the 4 gladiators at one time, which is badass by the way, his other battles were like a team of them.
And the tiger.
And the Tigers of God, which is probably one of the best movie scenes ever. That actually might have just changed my answer. So I want to say Spartacus. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all know how. And opposite of my brother, the Kraken, I happen to love sword and sandals movies. They're one of my favorite genres, and I know these two dudes are badass. I think the last reason I'm gonna trick Spartacus, he was fueled by hate. He was fueled by a lot more hate than
I don't know now.
I don't know, dude. They were both driven by the same kind of hate. Killed spouse, ruined life.
Father to a murdered son. Husband to a murdered wife.
Just.
And he got his
Oh my
bitch.
God. Let's go to the next damn question. So before I change my
Before
answer.
you do that, I want to ask one quick question to both of you. Since both of y'all picked Spartacus. Spartacus against Leonidas. Who you got?
I'm gonna have to change my answer. Then,
Throwing y'all under the bus on that one.
Yeah.
King Leonidas, who you got?
Now that's aggression. And
Well, nobody
skill,
angrier than that man.
and skill at the highest level too.
Even with an army of 300 men, he was still defeated. I'm going with Spartacus.
Man, come on, bro.
I'm sorry. Man, Spartacus picked up 2 swords, something gonna work on his ass. Are you serious?
Leonidas dog. Come on.
I saw Leonidas fight against his men. I never saw him fight one-on-one.
Okay. You need to go back and watch that, John D.
I mean, I saw him like did a Gogi. I saw how he did that part. I don't know. The Bringer of Rain is a cooler nickname. I don't know. Feel free to talk to us in the comments. I know I'm gonna get bashed for that one, but it's the Bringer of Rain.
Yeah, I don't know. Leonidas, I got Leonidas on that one. All right, we're going to the next phase, which is our movie review. This review is going to be on a classic sci-fi / superhero movie. It's going to be the cult classic, The Guyver. The Guyver, if you didn't know, my brothers would probably have to tell me.
Boosted armor.
Yeah, basically. Wasn't it alien armor that came down? Basically, it was some of the worst acting though. It was a funny movie. Some of the worst acting ever.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool the way they did it. Basically, this guy finds the armor. He runs into a gang of people. The little gang is so.
Wasn't JJ in that jump?
Yeah, Jimmy Walker is in there. But when he becomes the Guyver's like on the ground. They beat him up and push his head down on the ground, and it starts going into his body. Yep. And I'm like, what's going on with the guy? And once he finishes, he has all the armor and everything. He comes up and
those blades coming down.
Had the blades, he got the stuff on his head, and then when he meets, so I think Mark Hamill's in it. Then Jimmy Walker, and I forget the other character's name, but they're looking for the Guyver, but you find out they're aliens themselves. So it's a pretty good action movie.
Chronos, wasn't it?
Chronos. Yeah, Chronos. What's the end? The end guy.
I can't remember what his name was.
I forget his name. Hey, you have to forgive us. It's a bad movie review, but it's a fun movie review. So if you've seen the Guyver, you can look it up on YouTube. Any other mainstream or streaming services you got, some pirated junks you can probably find on there for free.
Definitely.
Cody.
But the Guyver,
how many blurs did you give him?
out of 5 blurs for a classic alien movie, which is a superhero, just for the nostalgia, I give it 3.5.
Okay, that's fair.
Better than Coming to America too.
You scored that higher to come. You sure did. You scored Coming to America like 1.5 blurs.
And
No, I think you guys gave it 0.5. They had one more.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but other than the acting, it had a good storyline. It's just too much to try to give at. But go watch the movie.
Yeah, please do.
But what do you guys give it?
I'd probably give it 3. That's a movie where you kind of have to look at it for the time that it was made.
Yeah, made in the 80s.
Made in the 80s during that time, but for what they did in that movie with the costumes, the special effects that they did, I mean, that was top notch for that time.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And even when he had the suit on, like he was throwing hands.
Yeah,
when
he was.
Had the suit on.
He was.
Like you can tell, oh boy, he had some martial arts ability when he had that suit on. He was cold. But I still get. I mean, it was still corny. A lot of the villains were goofy. But just it's a lot of nostalgia with that movie. If you haven't seen it, you really need to watch. You need to watch.
How many blurs did you give? You said 3?
I said 3.
I'm gonna give it a solid 3 as well. I thought it was a good movie. Like I said, it came along at that time where I was really getting into sci-fi, especially like into the whole alien thing. When he first gets the armor, it almost reminds me of kind of like a Venom. How the symbiote kind of took him over, you know what I mean? But it was cool because like it melded with his body and it made him like this. He's a superhero, you know what I mean? He was fast, he was strong, like he was agile. For what the movie was trying to do, I think now for the idea I might give it 4.5 Blerds because the idea is good. It's one of those movies that should be remade. And there was actually a second one. The Guyver 2 was actually a really good movie.
And there's an anime.
They're really good.
Comic books.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's actually good lore. It's like you said. It's like that 80s kind of cheesy acting. You can tell that the writers were more ambitious than the studio was when doing all that. So, you know, like I said, it's worth a watch if you've never seen it before. I think the second one and the animes are a little bit better. But if that was to be remade, especially with the technology like they were doing with Black Panther and Tony's like the nano suit, that'd be badass, dude. The guy needs to make a remake.
Yeah, that would definitely be good.
Yeah, and the second one, like I said, was even better because the Zor-Lord comes from you know, he's like the famous actor, and he comes and he's like the big monster. He wants to take the Guyver, and it's actually a pretty good lore.
And then like in the animation, you know, there was like 3 Guyver. You know?
Yes.
So
just like Venom, actually, it's like because there's more than one Venom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually thought it was pretty good. I must admit, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like I said, I give it a solid 3. Depending on what day you catch me on, you might get it like a 3.5, but 3. The half will be for nostalgia.
All right. So we're down to our final part of today, as usual. And as always, we want to thank everybody for watching the show. Like and subscribe to our show, and like and subscribe to this young lady that my brother here is getting ready to introduce you to.
Yes.
If you don't know her already.
Oh yes, our favorite part of the show, the cosplay crush of the day, is going to go to Miss Geeky Bombshell _. Just look, there's not even really a debate towards that. She's been cosplaying for about a year. She went to Comic-Con. She said she just kind of fell in love with the environment. She likes kind of people who can be in their own skin, be comfortable with what they're doing, and who take pleasure and pride in you know, making these costumes, you know, making their cosplays look good. Very engaged in person. Please follow her on Instagram. She's one of those people who don't mind talking back. She's very appreciative of her followers. Her cosplays are phenomenal. She's gorgeous. Yeah. So Geeky Bombshell, we appreciate it.
All right, Geeky Bombshell. Everybody give her a like, subscribe, and don't forget again, like and subscribe to our show. You can follow us on everything.
Please
you think of it, yeah, make some comments below. Anything you want to see, any verses, any who you got, any pick ones. I'm pretty sure we're going to cover a lot of them. But like I said, nostalgia, pop culture, it's vast, it's numerous. So let us know what you think.
What are we on? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, OnlyFans?
Oh man. Well, if you want us to have OnlyFans, we will get one.
That's right.
Blerds after dark. All right. See you guys next time.